The days for the conference slate for Baylor women's basketball has been released, but we don't know the times or the station or anything like that. We'll know that later on. But I will say the first conference game is at Texas. Ooh, yeah, and it's on the road too on December 30th. And they are the biggest competition for Baylor in the Big 12 this year. I'm not to disrespect any of the other schools out there. I'm just saying that because look, Texas brings back a lot. Yes, they can't. They are not that great at shooting the ball from three, but you get the point. I mean, and the first game in the Foster Pavilion, by the way, is against TCU on January 3rd. January 6th, Houston, and you get that game at home. Then you have to go back-to-back road games on January 10th at Kansas, January 13th at Iowa State. But at least Iowa State's out of the way because for Danae Fritz's sake. I mean, just get that out of the way. Don't have to deal with them later on in the year. And I don't know how exactly Iowa State's going to even be this year. Not just because she left Iowa State, but other players left Iowa State either to graduation or transfer portal. And yes, I know it added some players, but I don't know how good they're going to be. Now, then you get back-to-back home games. UCF on January 20th and January 22nd, you got Kansas State too. So interesting, but it's good that we're going to have back-to-back home games after back-to-back road games. Then we have one road game on January 28th. Gives us 6 days to get ready for Oklahoma State. And that was a team last year that had our number. They were one of the few that swept us. I mean, them in West Virginia. We split with Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, and Kansas State last year. But we beat Kansas twice. And TCU last year, too. Twice. And we only played TCU once this year. So then February 1st, you get Texas again. So, and this time it's at home. So you're going to literally play Texas within the first. Okay, that's 3, 6, 8. 9 games. You're going to play Texas twice in the first 9 conference games. Wow. Interesting. Then February 4th, it's on the road to Houston, then on the road to BYU on February 7th as well. So, once again, back-to-back road games. But you get another home game against West Virginia on February 10th. And February 14th, you go on the road to Oklahoma. I mean, that's one of those games I don't know how good Oklahoma's going to be honest, because they lost 3 starters. And some of those are like best all-time players they ever had. Then you get back-to-back home games with Texas Tech on February 18th, and then you got Kansas February 21st, and then you have to go on the road to West Virginia on February 24th. February 27th, you play Cincinnati. So you're literally playing West Virginia within 2 weeks, twice in 2 weeks. Ooh, interesting. But then you finish out the regular season with Oklahoma State on March 3rd. And of course, there's the Big 12 tournament as well from March 7th through March 12th, but that's not at home. So we'll know the times and the date, times for and the stations later. But now the whole women's basketball schedule is nearly complete, with the exception to the 2 non-conference games that we don't know in West Palm Beach Classic. So we'll have to wait and see. And this conference, I don't know how good it's going to really be, because in terms of 25 teams, the only 2 teams I could definitely see is Baylor and Texas. That's it. I'm just being brutally honest. I do think Kansas State's going to be better. I think Kansas, I know they went to the NIT last year, and if they didn't lose that one game in the Big 12 tournament, I think they would have been in NCAA tournament. I don't know how good West Virginia going to really make it to the Big 12 tournament. NCAA tournament again. I don't know. with a new head coach again. And TCU has a new head coach. And of course, we know Jane Owens went over there, but it was expected. Let's just be clear. And I don't know how much of a jump TCU will make because, one, roster turnover. I don't care if it's good or bad, a good team or bad team. When you have a lot of roster turnover, it's pretty hard to have success immediately. Like that. I'm just telling the truth. And you got to get the system in place. And 3 of the 4 new schools either have a first-year head coach or a second-year head coach. And it's not even including West Virginia and TCU in the mix for a new head coach this year. So, I'm just telling the truth. I do think Kansas State's going to be better because they got Aoka Lee back from injury. Like I said about Oklahoma, I don't know how good they're going to be because they lost 3 starters. And some of the few, like Taylor Robinson was one of the better players they've had all time. I mean, Oklahoma State, they lost some players to not just to graduation, but to the transfer portal as well. So, and I know they added a few, but you get the point. I just don't know how many NCAA tournament teams are going to definitely be in or all that, but you can't take each game for granted. You just can't. Of course, in general, you can't. Because upsets do happen in sports, as we all know. So, anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and see you guys later. We're on the road to 600 subscribers now. Let's go.